I used to think there was something fundamentally wrong with me. Why did every day feel like running a marathon through quicksand? Why did everyone else seem to glide through their day, while I felt like I was drowning in invisible weights? I'd wake up already exhausted, drag myself through conversations that felt like intense negotiations. I'd collapse at the end of the day, wondering why basic human existence felt so impossibly hard. I told myself I was just weak, maybe lazy, missing something everyone else had. I remember being the only one who had to hide in the school bathroom after lunch just to breathe. Then I learned about overstimulation, and everything changed. This is the story of the day I realized my brain wasn't broken. It was just speaking a different language. The breaking point came on what should have been an ordinary day. I'd gone to the grocery store, stopped by the bank, grabbed coffee with a friend, and picked up dry cleaning. Nothing dramatic, nothing overwhelming, just everyday life. But by the time I got home, I felt like I'd been hit by a truck. My skin felt too tight, every sound was too loud, and I had this desperate need to hide under my blankets and never come out. I remember sitting in my car in the driveway, unable to even turn off the engine, because that felt like too much effort. That's when I found myself Googling, for what felt like the 100th time, why am I so tired all the time? As if the internet might finally give me a different answer. But this time, it actually did. Something new and different came up. Overstimulation. I clicked on an article, and it was like reading my own diary, written by a stranger. As I sat there and read, I began to learn, and then realize that overstimulation isn't just feeling busy or stressed. I discovered it was when my nervous system became overwhelmed by more input than it could fully process. I started to think of my brain like a computer with too many apps open. Every conversation, every decision, every sound and sight and smell was another app. And for some of us, we reach capacity way faster than others. Suddenly, everything made sense. Everything became clear. The way crowded restaurants made me feel claustrophobic, even when I wasn't physically trapped. How making small talk at the grocery store checkout left me feeling drained for hours. Why I needed complete silence after social events, even ones I enjoyed. My brain wasn't broken. It was just more sensitive to stimulation than I'd realized. So I started experimenting with tiny changes, treating myself like someone worth caring for, instead of someone who needed to be fixed. I discovered the magic of what I call Micro-Sanctuaries. These became my lifelines during overwhelming days. Sometimes it was slipping into the bathroom at work just to breathe for 2 minutes in complete silence. Other times, it was keeping a soft scarf in my bag to touch when everything felt too sharp and bright. I started wearing noise-canceling headphones everywhere, not because I was antisocial, but because I finally understood that auditory overwhelm was real. I learned to say, I need 5 minutes, instead of just, I'm fine, when I clearly wasn't. The biggest shift was realizing that taking care of my sensitive nervous system wasn't selfish, it was necessary. Like how you wouldn't expect someone with sensitive eyes to walk into harsh daylight without sunglasses. I stopped expecting my sensitive mind to handle constant stimulation without support. I started seeing my sensitivity as a superpower that needed proper care, not a weakness that needed to be conquered. Because here's what I learned about myself and others like me. Sensitive people often notice things others miss. We feel deeply, we process thoroughly, we create beautifully. But we also get overwhelmed faster. And most importantly, that's not something to be ashamed of. It's just information about how we're wired. Now, when I feel that familiar sensation of mental static building up, I don't panic or judge myself. I recognize it as my brain's way of saying, hey, I need a moment to catch up. And now, I listen. My sensitive mind wasn't broken, and neither is yours. It's just speaking a different language. And once you learn to listen, everything becomes a little quieter, a little softer, a little more manageable. You're not too much, and you're not lacking in any way. You're exactly as sensitive as you need to be in a world that needs your particular way of seeing. If you've ever felt this way too, please know you were never broken either. Trust that gentleness toward yourself isn't giving up. It's finally coming home. Thanks for being here. I hope this helped, even in some small way. If it did, maybe stay with me a little longer. This next video might help even more.